Going live. You're live. End stream. Wait a minute. We may be doing it. Yep, it says I'm live for 3 minutes. 3 seconds, 8 seconds. Okay, so I am live now. Continued to have some technical difficulties with the computer today. I don't know what's going on. I did reload Windows 11 just recently, because if you remember last time I did the show completely on OBS because my Windows system was freezing up. I did not have enough space on my hard drive to run my operating system on a C drive, which was 100 gigabytes? I kind of expanded up to about a terabyte now. And so hopefully, I was hoping it's going to work a little bit better, but apparently we're still having some issues. And you never know when you're trying to set up for a live show. You never know until you actually start going if it's really going to go through or not. Yeah, I think we are doing much better now. All right, got myself a little drink. I got a couple drinks today. My trusty water, which I almost always have a jar of water on hand. It's a really good idea to keep pretty hydrated, but I'm trying something a little bit new today. I've got some tea here. Well, it's kind of a lemon ginger tea here. So, trying it out. Forgot the turmeric and the pepper, but it's a lemon ginger tea. It's supposed to be pretty healthy for you, help with the immune system, help with the blood circulation, and just, a lot of fun stuff like that. So I'm trying it out to see how it works, and going from there. It does have a little bite to it, but hey, good things do have a little bite to it, doesn't it? All right, what was the topic today? The topic is dual boot, OBS versus vMix, and Rufus and Etcher. Now, I have gone down so many rabbit holes. My streaming computer here, my gaming computer, my Stream Deck, just happens to be a dual boot machine now. I'm running Windows 11, and if I go into my bootloader, I can switch over to Mint Linux. In fact, I'm thinking of switching that around so that Mint Linux boots automatically, and if I go into bootloader, I can bring up Windows 11, just because I would prefer just to use Linux all the time. Windows, you're a pain in the butt. But, this vMix program right here is a wonderful program, and I'm not going to get rid of it. So, Windows 11, you're surviving. Windows in general, you're surviving mainly because of this one program. And if vMix ever listens to this and they want to explore bringing it to a Linux system, which there are a lot of Linux users out there, a lot of Linux YouTubers, I'm sure. Video and gaming and everything is becoming more and more popular on Linux. Let's bring some of these great tools that we have over to the Linux platform, Ubuntu. Speaking about dual boot, this afternoon I loaded onto this guy right here. This is what is it, not bigger than my finger here, 128 gigabyte, kind of a little amazing there, thumb drive that I put a new program on that we're going to talk about here, speaking about dual boot. I put Ubuntu Studio on here. Now, Ubuntu Studio is kind of the art and program, music, video work, stuff like that. It'd be awesome if we could bring vMix in someday to Ubuntu Studio, have all the great fun features that Ubuntu has, and run. Get rid of Windows. Let's get rid of Windows. This just makes life too complicated. So, I have Mint Linux on the other side of my PC here. And it's wonderful. I love using Linux. It's one of the best. Is a very Linux in general is such a lightweight program compared to Windows. Windows is just so heavy because every program that's running on Windows really brings its own kernel. It brings out its own all of the code into each program, and it starts loading it down. Whereas with Linux systems, the main kernel for the operating system runs all the other software. So you're not getting loaded down when you add a whole bunch of different software and stuff like that. It's not inflating and using up the hard disk space just because, that 1 gigabyte or 100 gigs M2 drive that I had in here was so overloaded with Windows, and I had minimal amount of programs on there, but it was so overloaded, and I would run Linux Mint off of a 16 gigabyte flash drive. I was running the full program off a 16 gigabyte flash drive. Now, yeah, you could tell that 16 gigabytes was pushing it, but here the thing is, it was still running, and that is the important thing. It's so the full program of Ubuntu, Linux, or Ubuntu, Mint, even Ubuntu Studio. You can run on such a small space, and it is wondrous. So let me do something here. We're going to switch over and switch over to my that computer right over here. So we are going to go over to this computer. I'm going to drop. Why did I do that? I need to drop this guy right here. I need to program. I thought I had programmed my cameras up properly, but apparently not. So right here now we are looking back at the proper camera right in front of me. I am looking at this computer now. My studio computer is over here, the one that's running all my video software, and now I have my demonstration computer, lack of better words, demonstration computer. What am I going to do with that today? Well, we were talking about dual boot, and if I remember right, I can be push. Let's go in here and see what we can do. I'm going to shut some of this down. We are going to go and log out. Let's just power off completely. Let's just power off and start fresh from the beginning, because I want to show you how to get into a dual boot system. Remember, I do have a flash drive here. Right now, I do only have one operating system operating on that computer. As soon as I put this flash drive into that computer, I am running 6 operating systems on there. I just have to choose which one. So right now I got no signal found. All right, that's planned. Let's now this computer is an older computer, a slower computer, so I don't expect it to have the power. It might get a little sluggish here and there. Let's see what we can do. All right, F4. Let's see, I think it's F4. We're just going to keep pushing F4 here. We're going to get into boot. And are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Bring it into bootloader with F4. Then bring it into bootloader. Weird. I thought it was F4. I practiced all this beforehand just to make sure I was doing it. Maybe it was F10. Should we try F10? I'm trying it. And see, that's what I like about live. So you're going to watch other shows, and you're going to say, yeah, well, that works for you, but it doesn't work for me necessarily.
So you want to see somebody making all kinds of mistakes? Well, here I am. I am going to make all the mistakes for you. We are going to exit out of this application because escape, exit. You want to exit application? Yes. And I practiced this before the show. So here's the mistakes. And you're not going to see this on too many other platforms because they're going to sit there and refine it. You know, I decided I'm going to do shows live because I want you to see the mistakes that I make. And let you know I'm not perfect, and neither is when you're working with the computers and stuff. Things are going to happen that you cannot control. Look at me. I came in about 15 minutes late into the show because there were things that happened that I couldn't control. That's what live is. And I am not going to apologize for it. That is part of working with computers and thinking through and how to troubleshoot these problems is going to teach you so much more about computers. So, every computer, I'm getting back into the bootloader here. Every computer manufacturer has different F keys you can push to get into the bootloader. My Dell computer here, I believe, is F12 also. Happens to be my Lenovo computer over here was F12. Got into the bootloader. That's what we are looking at here on the screen. You'll notice on SATA 1, I have Ubuntu. And then SATA 2, actually, it's essentially a Ubuntu system. And I haven't gotten in there figured out why I have two operating systems on there, but I got two different drives. Maybe it's oh well, I'm not going to try to explain it. So let's go all the way down. Network booter, we don't really do anything on that. I'm not too experienced on network booting yet. Maybe I'll figure it out someday and let you know why you'd even consider it. I think maybe some businesses would do that. To help better control their systems. But then we'll look at down here where it says USB, HDD, USB. So we got legacy and USB partition 2. So if we go to legacy boot, that is now going to boot off of the 128 gigabyte hard drive that we got. We're going to go into that and we're going to show you that I have multiple operating systems that are bootable from my hard drive, and that makes this computer into a multiple boot computer, but there's only one operating system loaded. It's because I put in essentially another drive on it that happens to have multiple operating systems on it. So it's not just even a dual boot, it's a multiple boot computer. So we're going to take a few minutes to, and that's the thing. When you sit there and edit all these shows and stuff like that, yes, we can get a lot more content in each show, but I don't think it's really getting, I like to talk to you guys. We'll take a minute and talk, and I don't have a problem with that. While the computer's sitting there thinking, maybe we're not going to get as much done, but I think it's going to be much more. There's a lot of value into it, a lot of value in taking your time and thinking things through, and just seeing how the whole process works right here on YouTube. I don't want to edit. I don't want to edit out my mistakes. Okay, so now we are looking at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh. I was wrong. There's 6 operating systems on my flash drive. There's 1 on the computer, so this is a 7 operating system right now. 6 of them are on my flash drive. Now, Ventoy. I just learned about this program, and it is wonderful. I've only played with it a little bit on this older computer, and it's a little slow. I'm after the show, maybe tomorrow, whenever I can get a chance, I'm sticking it into my big computer, and we are going to get some speed going, and I'm going to see how well these programs work. Okay, start with the first one, a live boot, Clonezilla. Clonezilla is, let's clone some hard drives. Take hard drive A and clone it to hard drive B. Maybe you need to make a backup of your data. Clonezilla is a great program. In fact, that's how I got my Windows 11 operating system off of that 100 gig M2 drive and put it on a 1 terabyte SSD drive. I use Clonezilla, clones it over. And yes, Clonezilla essentially is an operating system in itself that is set up and designed to clone hard drives. So you don't need to go out there and buy expensive cloners and stuff like that, expensive gadgets to clone your hard drives. You got a free software right here, open source software that you can actually clone a hard drive. Now, look at Gparted, another one. It's essentially an operating system because I can boot directly my computer directly into Gparted and run it. Now I can resize partitions, remake partitions, work with my partitions on my hard drives, and get them prepared to accept operating systems. Give me more space, reallocate my space. That's what Gparted's doing. Linux Mint. We saw that last week. I was using Linux Mint on my computer over here, my big system, streaming and showing you demonstrations all on the same computer using Linux Mint. Wonderful. I use it on my system a lot. I want to switch it over to my laptop because, hey, you know what? The only reason why I haven't put it on my laptop yet is because I got to take some documents and stuff off first before I can do that, because I don't want to lose something. Because as soon as I start putting Linux on there, Linux Mint on there, it has to reformat everything, and it will get rid of my documents. And I don't really want to. I got photos on there that I don't really want to get rid of. So I have Ubuntu 22.04.3 desktop version. That's the one I had been using on, that's the one I use on my computer upstairs right now on my laptop. That is my go-to, was my go-to before I got Linux Mint. Why do I say Lint Minix? I always want to say that. I was probably Ubuntu was my first love when it came to Linux systems, because I've used it for years. But you know what? It's time to explore other options. And I have learned a lot more about computers now that I've started exploring options. You know, it's not one size fits all. You can have one operating system doing this task over here, one operating system doing this task over here, another one doing this task over here. If you do multi-boot computers, you can select on the same computer and run different tasks. If you have multiple computers, now you can combine that power together and really have a wonderful setup. Ubuntu Studio, something I never have really dove into before today, and I kind of browsed through it. I didn't have a lot of time before the show to actually browse into it and see what it was all about, but here's what it's about. It's about creativity. So I noticed there was a lot of programs on there for artists, graphics rendering, different things like that. Music. In fact, they have an auto tuner on there. So with me and my auto tune singing, I might actually be able to sing. Might actually maybe sound halfway good. We'll see. But they had different synthesizers, different music programs on there. Wonderful, awesome. And then they also had the video side. So it's kind of a creativity, the creative, studio, the creative side of life. So Ubuntu made a creative package, a creative operating system. So I'm going to dive more into that, probably put it on, running on my big system here, kind of get a feel for it. You never know, I might make up some tunes or something to liven up my show a little bit, maybe some music or something at the beginning while my screen is playing, my countdown timer is playing. Didn't see too much of that today, but you saw a little bit. And then moving on, I've got Windows 11. Now, I'm not going to sit here and install Windows 11 onto my computer. I'm trying to get away from it. But here's the thing. As an IT professional, Windows 11, I could put Windows 10 on there. I could put Windows 7 on there. I could put XP. I can put all of them on there. And as soon as I go to somebody's computer that needs to be recovered, something happened to their operating system and I need to fix it, I've got those operating systems right there. I can actually hit repair and start diving into repairing other people's computers because I have this rescue disk that I can boot from the flash drive and work on computers. To me, that's a wonderful thing because I do a lot of work with computers. They break. And I've never, I had that problem with my big computer here. Never really had a backup. Never really had a recovery disk. I actually have a recovery disk now. So, Ventoy. Take a look at it. Watch a couple of YouTube videos on it. You'll be amazed how easy it is to install. And each one of these operating systems, Ventoy is just wonderful because I download each one of these operating systems into my downloads folder on my computer. Open up the Ventoy USB flash drive now. That's Ventoy. And I can take my ISO file, drag it over to Ventoy, put it in there, and it works as a bootable. Simple as that. Download, drag over, put it in a folder, and now you have a bootable operating system. It's not like before when you were having to run Rufus or Etcher, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. Ventoy kind of blows all that out of the water. Ventoy program is loaded, basically formatted onto the flash drive, and everything else goes on top of it, and it's instantly available and instantly ready for you to start using. So let's go down here and explore a little bit. As I said, this computer is just a hair slow. My other computer that I have over here is kind of laying in parts on the floor. That's kind of where I'm going to go with a server. I'm got to get a couple new operating hard drives in there. I'm going to probably put Ubuntu server on there as an experimental server. There's a couple things I want to put on there. I want to create a file server. I want to create a media server. So I'll probably buy some larger hard drives, maybe 6, 10, 15, 20 gigs, whatever I can get, or terabytes, I mean, and make a media server. But here's the thing. I have all these documents everywhere. They're not backed up properly. I have them all in different things in one place and one place only. And as soon as one of those drives crash, that data's gone. All my hard-earned pictures, all that stuff, be gone. So I'm creating a server, be local server for right now. Hopefully one day I will be able to move it into a out on the web, or web access or something like that, so I have access to back up everything remotely and to view my folders remotely. But for right now, I just want to get everything in one spot on multiple drives in the same computer, at least. So if one drive goes down, I've got everything as a backup. So we're looking at now Ubuntu Studio. Let's go into Ubuntu Studio. So we hit selected Ubuntu Studio. Now I'll go into boot normal mode and give it another couple minutes or a couple seconds here. Screen goes blank, and try or install Ubuntu Studio. So let's go ahead and try it out. So as of right now, we are The show is going live about every 2 weeks. I think I'm keeping pretty consistent on that every 2 week go live. I've tried to be on here right about 7 o'clock. Sometimes, like today, it didn't work out so well, but you know what? Here I am, and we are making it happen. All right, we are continuing to load. Kind of going through the boot screen here. Let me take another sip of some lemon tea here, lemon water. Nice and refreshing. So as I said, I'm going to be working at getting a little more familiar with Ubuntu Studio. Ubuntu server. And we're going to go step through a server. I want to show you how a server can be set up so easily. I am a novice when it comes to setting up servers and stuff like that. But here's the thing. I've got a cloud server already. I set up a cloud server. I put Ubuntu server on there, and I run a Docker. I run Docker containers, and I've got various programs on there that I can use professionally. They're running in the cloud right now. Wow, wonderful. That's what I need. So now we are into Ubuntu Studio right here. If I do decide to install it on this computer, I can install it from this icon here that is sitting on my desktop. Let's run along. We do have all of our icons along the top instead of on the bottom. We do not have a bar on the bottom, so our taskbar is up here on the top. Let's see, we have various things. We can minimize windows. We have our time, which obviously that is off because it is 7:46 and not 12:46 a.m. on December 15th. We are still December 14th. I am wired, so I have a wireless in my house, but I prefer wired when I'm doing stream work. Got my USB plugged in for my USB studio. There's Bluetooth here, volume, and no input window, but there you go. If we go to the other side, we have our menus. This is kind of like the Windows menu where this gives you all your programs here. What I like about Linux systems is they categorize very well your applications. Now, Windows kind of just gives you alphabetical order. Yeah, okay, that can be handy, but you know what? I got that capability going right here. All applications, everything alphabetical order. Or, you know what? Audio production. I want to look at all my programs that are on this system that are regarding audio production. Here it is. And what did I say? Auto tuner. Jack, auto tuner. Never used an auto tuner before. Yeah, I'm going to play around with this stuff. We're going to learn more about it. Maybe make some tunes. Don't know if you want to hear me singing or not, but we're going to make some tunes. Organ emulators, Audacity. I do use that quite a bit, especially when I was doing podcasting, a little bit more podcasting. Kind of thinking about bringing that back. Getting a lot of followership on my podcast channel. I'm like, maybe I should be doing that. Haven't been active there for several months, but it seems to be growing without me doing anything. It's always a positive thing. But here's all the different programs for audio work. Look at that. All these are preloaded into Ubuntu Studio. Want to talk about graphic design? Here's your graphic design. You got Blender. In fact, your dark table for photos, kind of like I'm trying to think of some of the Adobe products. Camera controller, tether for cameras. really haven't used this one much. Would like to try it out with my DLSR that I have back here. Um, see if that works well. Maybe I'll put Ubuntu Studio on my laptop and see if it works on there. I do have a I do plan on going to photograph the eclipse coming up in April 8th, Monday, April 8th. So maybe I will take the laptop with some of this on here and be trying out some of these programs. I use GIMP all the time. That's how I do my graphics for my show, is running through GIMP. Inkscape, a vector graphics program. I've used that a few times. Not the best at graphics, but I can get by. Did go to school for graphic design at one point, like 20 some years ago. Well, 25 years ago, maybe closer to 30 years ago, when it was a lot different than it is now. There was a lot less programs to work with. Now we've got all these great programs, but I can at least do the basic stuff. So that I'm very thankful for having gone to that school. Some office programs here, document viewers, animation, a 2D vector animations. So maybe I can do that for some of my graphics for my show here. And then a Digicam photo management program. Video production. I have Blender. That's good for doing 3D modeling and animation. Video editor, streaming and recording software. That's where vMix would give it a rival, would give OBS a rival. If we could get vMix to come over to Linux, that would be huge. It would fit perfectly into this program. Media converters, subtitle editor, and video monitors. We have the internet, basic internet stuff. We've got media playback, VLC, which we've used before. Haven't used these other ones, screencast creator or anything like that. Drop down to office programs. We got LibreOffice, kind of similar to your Microsoft Office products. Minimally, or what they are compatible, not 100% compatible, but LibreOffice, I do run a lot of my Microsoft programs, documents in through LibreOffice, and really haven't had much of a problem. But they're, as I said, they're not 100% compatible. Going to science and math, LibreOffice math. Well, not a lot of science and math, but one math. Here's your settings, your system applications. I can install the different systems. Let's see. I can create add things to a startup disk, my system monitor, utilities, and then some information programs and stuff like that. Okay, let's, system monitor. What are we looking at here? I want to see what my stats are here on this, because I didn't even look at how much I'm pulling here just to run this. As I said, I don't have a lot of space on. Let me look at my physical memory. I'm almost up to half used. Not using any disk space because I'm running off of a USB drive. Here we go. System that I'm using is Ubuntu Studio, KD Plasma version, KT version, blah blah blah. We are a wired connection. Not showing a well, they are showing a download upload speed here. What is 154 bits per second, and upload was, I forget what that was. I got pretty good internet here. I'll just put it that way. I do have some pretty good internet. And then my network connections here. So a lot of some interesting information here. System monitor running, a little bit of history, histograms here. And think about this. Core 1, Core 2, Core 3, and Core 4. Not a lot here, but yeah, kind of surprised. I didn't think this was even 4 core, but I do have 4 cores here. It is a slow system. Might be a little bit faster if I loaded Ubuntu Studio directly onto the computer instead of trying to run it from the USB stick, because everything's going to run a little bit slower from the USB stick. My processes that I'm running right now, probably not a lot. Let's exit out of this. Yeah, we do have Firefox, Studio Controls. What is this? Right here. Studio Controls. Okay, so our jack settings, devices, extra devices. Said I have really not taken the time to study this yet because I just found Ubuntu Studio and loaded it on here because I just thought, what can I load on here just to get multiple ISOs on here so I can do this show. So I said, you know what, I'm interested in Ubuntu Studio. So we're going to learn a little bit more about it, so maybe we can use it to enhance our shows a little bit. We'll see. System information. Let's close this. Digital audio workstation. Ardor. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Kind of sounds like it should be French. Okay, welcome. We're still loading. It must be a fairly sizable program, but as I said, we're also running off a USB stick, so I think we can forgive it. Or not. Let's just cancel that. Up here we got GIMP, Kden Live, Digicam. Here, I want to say Digicam was not just a photo manip program, but can I do my cameras here? Is it advanced digital photo? Next. Okay, next. Blah, 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 blah. And why take time reading it? If you want to use the program, you're going to have to accept it anyway, aren't you? Nah, there might be some things you can not accept right away, but hey. Not doing anything. We're going to cancel that because we're not going to really load anything at the moment because I don't have anything to load on this computer. Well, a little welcome screen here. Got your stuff here. Trash and in here in albums, you've got your information. Welcome to Digicam. Thank you, lemon ginger water. All right, nothing exciting to see there because I don't even have anything loaded on this computer to view. And let's see, quick settings, system settings. Ooh, this would be fun. I could do dark modes. I could do light mode. I like dark mode. I think you guys like light mode too. Animation speed, we could just have it kind of in the middle. What do we got for wallpaper? Let's look at this. Nothing too spectacular. Alright, go back out here. Advanced settings. Sure, we'll apply them. Okay. Here's your start dark studio, light studio, Ubuntu Studio, Breeze, Twilight. Those are kind of your themes that you have. Oops, I just shut out completely, didn't I? Kind of disabled user feedback at the moment. Don't need to do that. Can do energy saving things, so we can change our power usage. Screensavers, suspending, kind of things you would expect to see on a computer. If you're familiar with the Windows system, then you should be familiar with a lot of these settings. So we got the settings, we got workspace, behavior, Windows management, any shortcuts. Oh yeah, if we had shortcuts, but we could set up shortcuts to applications here, it looks like, potentially. System starting and shutting down. A search feature. I'm just kind of going down the list here, seeing what we've got. Add users, regional settings, accessibility, applications, different applications that we've got. Potentially location diagnostics, how the applications basically are going to run. Online accounts, don't have any online accounts that I'm going to be connecting here. Here's my network connections and network settings. So, different input devices, monitors. I only got the one monitor at the moment. Can change different orientations, it looks like, not too bad. Some audio settings. I'm not using too much for audio right now. Multimedia. I do have a CD player on, CD DVD player on here. I do believe it's a DVD player. For sure CDs, but I think it's a DVD player. Power management, Bluetooth settings. No devices are paired. Color correcting. Driver manager. We're not going to sit there and try to load different drivers right now. Why not? And KDE connectors. I've used that on other systems before. Printers that may be available. Do I have any printers available? Potentially. Oh, yeah, I would. I'd love to hook up Samba too. We'll maybe get to that too when I start setting up servers. Any removable storage that I have. Thunderbolt, which is your email preferences about this system, and then doing software updates. So there's a lot of little things packaged here in Ubuntu Studio. Really need to dive in and explore a little bit more at some point in time. But that is not today's job, not today's practice. We are just here to kind of give you an overview. I did not really get a chance to, I got about 10 minutes left at the most that I'm going to be working here. And I did want to get into Etcher and kind of talk a little bit about vMix and OBS, but maybe I'll save vMix OBS for another show because I want to compare them. Show you vMix here on my big computer and then show you OBS maybe on a different system, maybe my laptop or this practice computer here. And then we've got Etcher and Rufus. Now, Etcher and Rufus probably, because Rufus is a Windows-based system. So let's zoom in back over here, get into this camera here. Rufus is a system for Windows. Let me see if I can bring up Rufus. I do have Rufus in my, let's see here. Which computer is this? Okay. So I do have Rufus right here. Open it up. I've downloaded it in the past. Yes, boom, done. This is Rufus. So you're going to take you're going to take a USB drive. As long as you're not putting Ventoy on there, you can take just a regular USB drive and put a single ISO basically on here, single operating system. That's what I was doing before I met Ventoy. I would take Rufus here, and I would just step down. Here would be the drive that I'm going to load everything onto, reformat. Here I'd select my ISO image that I wanted to put on there, go down here, and select whatever ISO I wanted. A lot of times it would be Clonezilla. Blah, blah, blah. Go down here, and then I would hit start. And in just a few minutes, I would have a bootable flash drive. As I said, that was before I met Ventoy. And I would have to say, Ventoy, you are going to get all of my business now. I know you've been around for a little while, but I just learned about you. Not everybody can know everything about everything. So, I just learned about you. Now you are my favorite live USB program. If you wanted to not use Rufus, there is always Etcher. And you can go in here, you can go to Etcher, you can log in, blah, blah, blah. Pricing, you can download Etcher. Let's just do that real quick. And see, you could do Etcher for Linux, Mac, and Windows. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility than just Windows, which Rufus is for. We're going to go with the download. Let's just do this download real quick, because it's going to be a quick download. We're going to open up this window, go to my downloads. It's right there. Where did Yep, I could have sworn we were downloading Etcher. Yep, still in progress here, it looks like. Let's open this up. Open, come on. And there again, this is live. Okay, agree, blah, blah, blah. We're opening, setting it up. It's loading into my system here. And voila, where are you, Etcher? And that's the thing about live. I'm showing you that it takes time to do this computer stuff, and it's not going to work every time, first time, right away. So we want to flash from file. So you're going to pick out a file here. So we would pick out our ISO file. Let's just say we'd take gparted, and we would select a USB device right now. And I'm not going to select the one down here because I'm just going to pull that out, just so I don't accidentally hit start. This is my where all my passwords are. I don't need them erased. And then once you select your USB device, you flash, and it creates a bootable USB drive. So that would be the Etcher and Rufus. Etcher is a little more flexible. Yeah, you have to download the version for whatever operating system you're using, but at least you have the capability of using different operating systems. Rufus is designed for Windows. Windows only, that's what you get. So go with something that gives you a little more flexibility. Oh, like Ventoy. You know, they should give me some money for saying their name. Every time I say their name, they should give me some money. I'm advertising. I'm good. I'm going to be good at advertising for them. It was easy to set up, easy to use, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So I came here to talk about dual boot systems. I was able to do that. Multiple boot systems now that I have a good USB drive, not just a dual boot. He came here to talk about a little bit about Etcher and Rufus. Got that covered. The only thing I missed covering was, I didn't talk about OSB and vMix. But I'm going to save that for another show. You know, maybe I'll try to get on next week. That would be a little amazing if I could get on next week, and let's talk about it then. I just don't have enough time tonight because the show started late. And of course, with live, things don't always go the way you want them to go. But that is the wonderful thing about working with computers. You learn along the way. And all of these little mistakes makes you a better technician, a better troubleshooter. You're a little bit more valuable for what you're doing with your own systems, potentially what you're going to do with at your job. If you do work with computers or troubleshooting in your job, learning how to work through mistakes is a wonderful way of doing it. I do that right here live. I don't get all flustered. I don't get all, oh man, it's not working. Don't let it bother you, because you got to know that mistakes are going to happen. Things are going to happen that you cannot control. And that's what I want to teach you. That's the lessons here. Now, I am going to be back. Let me zoom over here so you can see my face instead of seeing a Etcher screen. I am going to be back again, hopefully next week, but probably in 2 weeks. Because that's just kind of the way my trend has been going. I've been going with about every other week. I'd like to get down to a weekly show, kind of speed things up. Eventually, maybe get down to a couple times a week. Depends on what I'm doing. I'm thinking of breaking this down not into just computers, but I want to do a little science, a little electronics, maybe some photography. So I may pick different nights, different days of the week to do different topics. We'll see. I haven't decided where I'm going to go with this channel yet, but we'll figure it out. All right, I am going to jump off. We are at that 1 hour mark, kind of where I wanted to be. And we are going to call it a night and kind of relax for the rest of the evening. Got to go back to the job tomorrow, have a day off, and then another 6-day stretch before vacation week. So, until next time, have a wonderful week, and we will catch